What up, everybody? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I'm doing a monthly forecast for all of us, for all signs, for the month of November of 2020. This is the second to the last month of the year. We have an eclipse this month. We have Mars still retro, Mercury still retro. Both are going direct. We have a lot cracking. If you want to know how all that stuff affects your sign, I do have November horoscopes finally available on my website, which is indigomoon.astrology.com. Go to the horoscopes page and you will find your links to order them there. Okay, so I send you the link within 24 to 48 hours of your purchase. I am a human, not a robot. So keep that in mind. So I handle everything myself. So I will personally email you the link once your PayPal purchase goes through. If you have a different email address other than the one that's on your PayPal, please contact me directly. You should be able to find my contact information on my website as well, and be able to email me through there. Okay, to be able to give me your email address. Yeah, so indigomoon.astrology@gmail.com. You can email me there if you want me to send your link to your horoscope to a totally different email address than your PayPal email address. So just keep that in mind. Mercury's still in shadow doing some stupid shit, okay? So let's just get this right. Okay, so you guys get your horoscope. All right, so what's going on this month, just generally speaking, for all of us? Oh, and also stay posted, you guys, because I am still working on getting the 2021 yearly horoscopes for all signs out. So just stay posted to my YouTube and to my IG, where I'll let you guys know exactly when those are available and released. Okay. All right, so the month of Noviembre, what's going on? What's cracking? Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the fact that Mercury is going to go direct, okay, on November 3rd. And also, don't forget to check out the weekly horoscopes, you guys, if you don't already, because there's some other aspects, some more minor aspects that I will cover in the weeklies. The monthly, I'm just covering like the most major ones for all of us. But the weekly, I get more into detail, all right? But if you want to look ahead at the whole entire month, then this is the video for you. So Mercury goes direct at 25 degrees of Libra on November 3rd. So what does this mean? Well, Mercury has been retrograde. It went retro at 11 degrees of Scorpio, and ironically the sun is at 11 degrees of Scorpio the day that Mercury goes direct. So whatever was going on, when did Mercury go retro? 11 degrees of Scorpio, right? So that was like around, so let's say like mid-October, whatever was cracking around mid-October. The sun is highlighting that spot. Okay, so there could be some illumination, some things coming to light, especially if you know where Scorpio is at in your own chart or for your sign. There's some things that are coming to light that are being revisited a few times. Okay, and Mercury does rule communication and thought and information and stuff like that. So there's some illumination there. And Mercury is going direct at 25 degrees of Libra, right? So the last time that Mercury was at 25 degrees of Libra was the end of September. So like around September 23rd, September 23rd. So if there was something going on around that time, then there was communication related, some mercurial matter that maybe had to do with mail and shipping, emails, phone calls, processing information, getting paperwork together, some sort of agreement or something that was around September 23rd, then that is also being revisited and looked at. Or if you know where Libra's at in your chart, what the sign of Libra rules for you personally, then that's being looked over once again. The 25th and 26th degree of Libra, definitely being revisited. So the end of September right now is being looked at again, okay? And then also mid-October. So just keep that in mind if you're an astro nerd and you know what the hell all that stuff means. But anyway, Mercury goes direct. In general, what does that mean? It means Mercury is no longer retrograde. However, it's still in its shadow period for a couple of weeks, meaning still trying to gain his little momentum, okay, or his little momentum. Like John Witherspoon, I'm pretty sure it was him that said momentum on some movie he was in. You know, he's pretty much pops in every movie, okay, and TV show. But anyway, yeah, Mercury's getting back up to speed, meaning like our minds are still not completely clear, our communication is still not completely clear. We'll still have annoying ass typos and misplacing things, and oh my god, like all that stuff is gonna still continue, you guys, for the next couple weeks. It's just gonna trickle off and not be as strong, you know, as when it was actively retrograde. So not until Mercury gets past the degree that it was at when it went retro are we in the clear, which is around 11 degrees of Scorpio, which is not going to be until the 20th of November. Okay, so when you see all those posts on the internet that say, oh, Mercury's direct, hooray, now we can move forward with this and this and this. No, hunty, no. You still have to take the proper precautions. You may still have to wait on, you know, signing your name on things and letting that ink dry, okay? You may start to have communication get better between you and other people and pick back up again, but it's not going to be, you know, there could still be some misunderstandings and stuff that happen up until the 20th. So please keep that in mind, you guys. Please keep that in mind. Because even though this is general, yeah, there's a lot of general info out there about Mercury retrograde and the planetary movements and stuff, but they don't get down with the details like we do over here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Mercury's direct, but still be careful driving. Be careful with communication. Don't send the wrong message to the wrong people. Track your packages, make sure they're going to the right places and all that stuff. You still have to do that. All right, so on the 6th of November, we have Mercury squaring Saturn. It starts really early in the day, like it's exact early in the day. It starts to really be intense, like late on the 5th of November, and then it's exact like real early on the 6th, and then it continues throughout the day and the next, you know, few days. What does this mean? So it's like Mercury goes direct and then he squares Saturn. I'm going to cover this more in detail on the weekly horoscope, you know, but pretty much Mercury squaring Saturn means you can be very doubtful. You can fear the worst and you can expect the worst to happen. It's very hard for you to have optimism and really believe in what you're seeing, what you're hearing. You need confirmation of things. You need things proven to you. Cold, hard facts is Capricorn and Saturn, you know. And, you know, we have this aspect of the sun starting to make a trine aspect to Neptune, which is water energy, which is intuitive and imaginative, and you just know things, right? You just know. You don't need tangible proof. And you may be receiving messages from the other side that tell you, believe, you know, even though you can't see it physically manifested in front of you right now or just yet, believe. And then Mercury square Saturn is like, no, where the hell is it at? It's not even right here in front of me. I can't touch it. I can't see it. So therefore it doesn't exist. It may never happen, blah, blah, blah. Like that's the type of vibe that it brings. Okay. So Mercury square Saturn can be a little tough. It could be, you have like a lot of discernment and you're very critical, you know, your thinking could be very overly critical. You could be overthinking things, thinking something's never going to happen. Like I said, you know, like, it's a tough aspect because Mercury rules the mind and Saturn rules blocks and obstacles and difficulties. So you can kind of think in those terms that everything is like that. It's hard for you to plan ahead, you know, because you're going to see, oh, well, I want to do this, but what about this? This can stop it. Or I want to do this, but no, because blah, 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 you know. So this transit can be a little tough. Okay. It can make you critical in a good way to where you're not just jumping into something that could be, potentially harmful to you, because Saturn is like the inner disciplinarian. So you can be more of a disciplinarian for yourself and your actions and your words. But it can also stop you from really jumping into something that could be dope, and something that could be enjoyable for yourself, because you're going to think of all the negative and you're going to doubt yourself and maybe doubt other people. So just be aware of the good and the bad of this aspect. So once again, it's exact on the 6th. So then on the 9th, we have Venus and Mars opposing each other. Okay, this also is a very frustrating aspect. Now, one thing about Venus and Mars opposing each other is it can create some tension, even though the opposition is quote unquote a negative aspect. That's why the line is like red, like like red alert. But the tension between the masculine and feminine energies can also be pretty hot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this can be, you really have wanted to go after someone like so badly and you haven't been able to gather the momentum. You haven't been able to gather like the strength, the courage to, you've been procrastinating. You've been doing the Libra thing. Like, well, should I or shouldn't I don't know. Maybe. And oh, what about that? Well, I don't know. And maybe I should just wait for things to happen. But then once you have that tension of Mars, it's like, yo, I can't take this anymore. Like, I want that person so bad. I want to talk to them really badly. I want to see them. I want some shit to get popping. So you get that energy that's tense, that's frustrating, but it causes you to jump into action. Now, because Mars does rule action and it's an impulsive ass Aries, it can make you jump into some stupid actions. Okay, so just be aware of that. But there could be some good to it. Now, this Mars and Venus opposition can also be, you debating back and forth whether or not you should take action on things within yourself. It's an internal battle, but also it could be actual outside of yourself, whether you possess more feminine or masculine energy. Whoever is your opposite, you may be beefing with them. Like, you may be annoyed with, the male species, the female species, or, even if whatever you got going on below the belt, like, it doesn't matter. If you could be like physically a male, but possess more feminine energy that's more laid back and more receptive and more, sensitive and stuff. And then you are around like people who are physically female with the gender and they have more Mars energy to where they're like raw, they're more action oriented and they're jarring, like this Mars arrow, bing, 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 like pointing at you, like pressuring you to do stuff. And you're like, yo, I'm just trying to kick back, girl, leave me alone, So it can go either way. Whatever you identify as, whatever you possess more of, the opposite is going to be fucking annoying. Okay. So there could be some arguments, between like relationship partners and stuff like that. But like I said, the tension can also lead to good. I have seen and experienced the good tension between Venus and Mars. So it does exist. It is real. It can happen. So it can go either way. Every transit can go either way, you guys, good or bad. It's depending upon your free will, the other people around you, what they do and all of that. So I just let you know the potential of both. Okay. But yeah, this can just be, once again, an internal battle. Should I take action or should I kick back? All right. So that's on November 9th. On the 10th, we have a couple things popping. We have, this is when the sun is in an exact trine aspect to Neptune. I'm going to say it's like really early on the 10th, late on the 9th, actually, to be exact. Okay. To be exact degree. It's like the 9th into the 10th, because we look at 18 and 20 minutes of Scorpio, and Neptune is 18 and 16 minutes of Pisces. So it's like late on the 9th, early 10th, and then goes through the 10th, to where Yeah, the sun is in an aspect, a direct aspect to Neptune. Now, this is a beautiful blend of energy. Look at this. Look at that pretty purple line. Hey, word up. I like that. And this brings out the purple is actually the appropriate color because that's the color of like the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, which rules intuition and psychic ability, tuning into the other side, just receiving messages from like the spirit realm and, you know, whatever and whomever you believe in above you. That's what that color rules, and the vibration of that, the purple hues and, you know, those chakras, that's what they rule too. Just intuitively knowing things, okay, and channeling. So that's exactly the energy that's in the air. So the veil continues to be very thin, you guys, between the physical world and the spiritual world. And then on this day, the 10th, it's super thin. Like, you know, just pay attention to the dreams that you have when you sleep on that day, and any like visions that you get, and insights that you get, any, you know, if you see angel numbers, if you find feathers or shells, or I mean, like it all depends on what connection to the spirit world you have personally and what you may find. Some people say they find certain coins that mean something. Some people see other numbers rather than just the usual like 1111 or 333. You know, some people see like 1010 or, you know, 2410, or, you know, something, some other numbers that mean something personal to you. However the other side communicates with you, they will be communicating with you hardcore around the 10th of November. So just really pay attention. And then also, this brings out creativity, more creativity in people who are artists. So if you're an artist, your art will be on point, boy. Or if you just appreciate art, but you don't actually create art, like if you like music, you like to watch TV shows, movies, anything that's fantasy related that takes you away from reality, you'll be more in tune with that stuff too. Taking a trip near water is really dope when there's these aspects to Neptune that are so beautiful like this. One thing I will say, even though this is a trine aspect, which is, like I said, it's beautiful energy, it's positive, it can still open the door for some bullshit to happen. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Neptune can rule trickery and deceit, like either self-deception or coming from other people, because it rules like fog and, you know, that old saying, they pull the wool over your eyes, like that old people say, meaning people can blind you to the truth and the facts of things. And also Neptune can rule manipulation and sob stories that are fake, you know, like how there's some, I'm not saying all homeless people do this, but you know how there's some people that they're like not actually homeless or not actually struggling, but they walk up to you and they give you this sob story at the gas station. Hi, I am trying to just get home and I need gas in my car and blah 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 blah. You know, there's some people that really, like I said, they're keeping it real with that, but there's a lot of people that lie and they BS, you know. So when there's Neptune, when there's an aspect to Neptune, Neptune's energy is opened up in the sky. Like, it does cause some people to act stupid and do these whack things that are deceptive and like, oh, let's see what I can get away with. So people will give you those sob stories to get money out of you or to get something out of you and manipulate you. So just be aware of that with that aspect too. What else? Yeah, you can lose track of things, lose track of physical items, lose track of information, lose track of data. Okay. People can, you know, Neptune's energy is invasive, so it can rule like invasive critters, meaning like bacteria. So watch your health, boost your immunity around this day, because the sun rules your vitality and Neptune dissolves vitality. So even though this is a good aspect, I mean, this can still bring some stuff like that. Okay. And you know, we have like a major illness floating around, and then this time of year brings other illnesses anyway, like the flu and stuff like that. So yeah, boost your immunity and stay, you know, healthy around this time too. What else with the sun trine Neptune? This aspect can bring a lot of sensitivity and your own psychic abilities to just know stuff, Okay, so just trust it. All right. So also on the 10th, this is when Mercury moves back into Scorpio direct. So more watery energy that just knows things. All right. Because Scorpio is all knowing up in this bitch. Okay. Scorpio uncovers hidden information, secrets, lies, has a sharp hidden BS detector. So yeah. Okay. So it looks like, okay. So like the afternoonish of the 10th over here on the West Coast, throwing up the dub, the four fingers up, two twisted in the middle. Okay. That's the time zone I'm on. But Mercury goes back into Scorpio at 0 degrees on the 10th. So there's even more of that energy that's intuitive, that questions things, and investigates things. So Mercury's going to be, this is a repeat of, let's see, Mercury and Scorpio. When was the last time Mercury was at 0 degrees of Scorpio? It was the very end of September, like September 27th. Okay. Yeah. So 27th, 28th. Okay. And then it went retro and was around that degree, like October 27th ish. Okay. So pretty much when Mercury steps back into Scorpio, we're going to be looking at whatever was going on, like the end of September through the end of October. Okay. So like the 27th through the 27th for like a whole month. We're going to be reviewing that stuff for the next couple of weeks. That's what Mercury going back over those degrees is going to do, is bring some clarity to things. So once again, if you know where Scorpio is in your own chart, you'll know what area of life that is. If you don't know, then of course, like I said, got the November horoscopes on deck. So, you can order one of those and see what that means for you. Okay. But it's just interesting to see like what we're backtracking over and what we're looking over again. But Mercury's going to be in the sign of Scorpio until December 1st. So Mercury in Scorpio, yes, more Scorpio energy. And even though Halloween is over as I'm recording this, the Scorpio season still continues, man. It really does. And even after the sun leaves Scorpio, Mercury will still be there. So it's still technically Scorpio season, quote unquote. And then Venus will join later this month too. So the Scorpio energy continues. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, Scorpio, it rules like the darker side of life, quote unquote, death, anything that's taboo, anything that has to do with borrowing money, lending out money, whether you share resources with people, stuff like that. Even if you're like a roommate and you share like the bills with people, even Scorpio rules that. If you receive tax money, if you receive money from the government, like get government assistance, Scorpio rules that. If you get even like stimulus checks and stuff like that, Scorpio rules that. So we may see some more developments in the month of November. At least here in the US, they're looking at like stimulus checks and all that stuff. Once there's energy in the sign of Scorpio, even more like Mercury, Mercury is what we talk about and what we think about, and it's information and stuff. So there could be some clarity that's brought to whether or not we're getting a second stimulus and when and all that stuff. Okay. So we may see that. And then also, yeah, so we have Mercury and Scorpio. And then also we have Jupiter in a conjunction with Pluto. Now, Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio. And these are both in the sign of Capricorn, which rules the government. So Pluto rules the same thing Scorpio does. So this is why I said, like, on the 12th, it's exact, okay, that Jupiter and Pluto are together. So around the middle of the month is when we may have some more clarity or some answers to like more things like the stimulus, and maybe there could be some things if you've had issues with like unemployment, food stamps, cash assistance, any of that stuff, if that applies to you, which it applies to a lot of people with the Rona, the Rona floating around. A lot of people's jobs have been stunted. There's a lot of jobs that have to do with people gathering together that people can't do right now. So a lot of people are having to rely upon government assistance, unfortunately. But there will be some more, like, probably some more developments, some more answers once Jupiter, which rules, like, knowledge and information, hits Pluto, which rules that type of money. And then, we got Mercury and the Sun in Scorpio, bringing clarity to those resources. Okay. Jupiter conjoined to Pluto, yes, and also it's Scorpio season, so people will really be on their Scorpio things. Okay, like, I'm talking about, like, being into horror movies and serial killer documentaries and shows, and like the First 48. And I've been as a Scorpio myself, Scorpio rising, I got into the show Lucifer. I think I talked to you guys about it before. Is very interesting. It's not just all like evil, there's like a lot of human stuff and emotional stuff and lessons, within the show. It's not what you would think. But it is kind of a taboo type of a topic, to have a show about. So yeah, like shows like that, anything that has to do with uncovering mysteries, unsolved mysteries, there's actually that show, Unsolved Mysteries. But shows that have to do with that are Snapped or Deadly Women, those type of shows people might be interested in, or books, because Jupiter rules like reading books. So books and research about those type of topics can be very popular, or about death and reincarnation, or like, what's the word? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? You know how like people work in that industry of like morticians and funeral homes and all that type of stuff. I discovered this guy here on YouTube. His channel's called Lamont at Large, and he goes around the US visiting different cemeteries, and he visits the graves of some well-known people, but he also just visits, like, just checks out the cemetery. And if anybody's he looks up the stories of people that passed away. If he could find their story online of how they passed and who they were, he'll tell their stories of just regular people. And he, highlights the graves that are very interesting looking and stuff like that. So that's totally a Scorpio thing and a Pluto thing also. So if you guys are interested in any of that, in that type of thing during this season, I do recommend you check out his channel. It's very interesting. I think he does visit some celebrity graves and tells some of their stories and stuff too. So pretty interesting stuff if you have a Scorpio mind, or if your mind is going towards Scorpio things during this season. Okay. But yeah, even things that are like ancient mysteries, stuff like that, like back in history, might be more interested in stuff like that. Yes, and bring out the chains and the lace and the leather and the color black and all of that stuff during this time. Ooh, yes, and the red lipstick, the burgundy lipstick, the blood colors, all of that stuff. Yes, bring it. Okay, so we have Jupiter conjoined to Pluto on the 12th. And then Mars goes direct on the 13th. So Mars goes direct in the sign of Aries on the 13th of November. Yeah. So Mars is a co-ruler of Scorpio. So we have the ruler of the ruler of Scorpio, which is Pluto, being boosted by Jupiter, and then the co-ruler, which is Mars, going direct. So lots of Scorpio energy in the air this month. So Mars goes direct. So Scorpios will really, if you have Scorpio as one of your big three, meaning your rising, your sun, your moon sign, you will be feeling more in your element as the month of November progresses, especially the mid to the late month, because we do have planets in your sign. We have your ruling planets finally moving direct and being like expanded upon. So you'll be in your Scorpio element, man. Beautiful thing. So we have Mars direct in Aries. What does this mean for everyone though? Mars is the planet of taking action. It's in Aries, another sign that it rules, the main sign that it rules, I would say. So Mars is at home in the sign of Aries usually, but it's retrograde. So a lot of your impulsive actions can backfire on you when it's retro. Now it's going direct, but same thing with Mercury, you guys. Not until Mars is out of its shadow period are we really in the clear with taking action like this, okay? So what degree did Mars go retrograde at again? It went retro at 28 degrees of Aries. Okay, so not until Mars is at 28 degrees of Aries and beyond direct will we be in the clear, and that's not until the beginning of January. So Mars is in its shadow period all through November and in December of 2020. So you still have to watch your actions that you take. And don't jump and fly and be an idiot and then run your head into a wall, okay? Still take the proper precautions. Look into things in detail before you jump and all of that stuff, okay? But yes, Mars is moving direct. So people that are Mars ruled, meaning, you know, males, masculine energy people, maybe they weren't really doing their best while Mars is retro. They weren't really taking that much action. But once it moves direct, they'll be on it. They'll be more pursuing things in life, or pursuing people that they're interested in, stuff like that. Okay, so on the 14th, this is when we have a new moon in Scorpio. Yes, new moon in Scorpio. So this is on the 14th. The new moon is at 23 degrees of Scorpio. Okay, and it's making a beautiful trine aspect to Neptune in Pisces. It does make a sextile to Jupiter and to Pluto and to Saturn in Capricorn, which is it's a nice but subtle aspect. So these planets are involved as well as Neptune. So once again, Neptune is like fantasy, but it's also like magic and the beyond and the other side, the spirit world, and receiving messages from beyond and all that stuff. So that is in the mix with this new moon. But then also we have, you know, all this Capricorn stuff to ground things and to make things really happen in the real world, you know, to where you can see them, they're tangible. So we've got like the believe in the unknown, but it's still real, and then also the real, you know, the real, which is Cappy energy. So all of that is in the mix with this new moon. Just in general, the new moon in Scorpio, I mean, there could be transformation is always the word that people use for Scorpio. So we have a new moon in Scorpio every year, so it's not a big phenomenon. You know, there's always transformation happening, so I'm not going to sit here and blow it up like it's some magical rare thing that happens. You know, there's just some realizations. Maybe there are some secrets that are uncovered. Yes, whatever that means for you. There's some secrets that are uncovered, some information that was previously hidden to you that can just come to the light, come to the surface, because these are two luminaries, the sun and moon. We see them in the sky every night, right? They're bright, you know, they illuminate things. So there can be some truth that's illuminated that you didn't know about before. Good or bad, depending upon where it is in your chart, of course, is what it means, okay? So there's that new moon popping on the 14th. And then on the 15th, we have Venus square Pluto. There's just so much scorpionic energy popping at the end of the middle of the month, let me tell you. So Venus square Pluto. Okay, Venus will square Pluto, square Jupiter. But let's talk about Venus square Pluto. Pluto's a ruling planet of Scorpio. It rules, you know, like possessiveness, obsession, could be jealous. It can be like stalkery, you know, stalkerish. So Venus square Pluto can mean like people are acting like that. If they are in relationships, if they are in some sort of connection with somebody that's romantic, they could be like, yo, who is that? Like on the movie Friday. Oh, hell no. Who is that bitch? Tell her to give you some money. That's how Venus square Pluto can act. Like, she doesn't play around, man. She doesn't play. You know, she's possessive. I found this meme on Instagram today, and I posted it in my stories. If you're listening on November 2nd, But if not, yo, like it's funny because this guy is wearing this shirt with his girlfriend's face on it, and it's like, if you can read the shirt, you're too close because I'm taken AF. I have a girlfriend and it's got her face on it, and like she's got this dark lipstick and a black shirt. I'm like, yo, she's probably a Scorpio. Only a Scorpio broad would be making their mans wear a shirt like that. Like, come on now, dog. Come on, man. And then the picture that they took is like, it's them together and she's still smiling like, yeah, bitches, he's mine. Dude isn't even all that in the photo, let me tell you. But when you are really into somebody and you look at them as your property, you don't care. Like, they're all of that to you, and they're yours, and you want them all to yourself. And if anybody tries to come in between you guys, you want to kill a bitch. Okay, that's how Venus square Pluto acts. So, but she's very intense, but also Venus is still opposing Mars and squaring Pluto. And, both Pluto and Mars rule Scorpio. So even though Venus is in flirtatious, free Libra, who's like, free love to everyone. I'm not flirting. I'm just being nice. I want everyone to like me. Oh, you're cute. You're cute too. Oh my God. Let me just talk to everyone. Yeah. Well, she's going to be held captive by Mars's ass and Pluto's ass too. Okay. And, so if you are in a relationship, you better watch yourself. If you are being a little too free with yourself, Scorpio season and these aspects popping. Come on. No. People are not going to be playing around. Okay. People will be going through each other's phones. Who is this? Who is that? Where were you? Oh, okay. So you said you were here during that time, but according to your text messages to your homies that I went through, you were actually blah, 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 blah. Like, come on. That is really popping in the middle of the month. So just be careful. If you're an F boy or an F girl, don't get caught up mid-November, okay? Or if you are with someone and they are actually, they're a good boy or a good girl or whatever, don't let your suspicions and your paranoias with this energy take over to where you mess up a good thing because you're just doing the most. You're doing way too much. You're being way too suspicious over nothing. All right. Because people can go overboard with this too. So you have to be able to use your own discretion to know what is your inner lie detector that's actually like your bullshit radar is picking up on some bullshit versus you are just, it's all in your head. You're just scared of the worst happening because Scorpio energy brings that out of us. Pluto energy brings that out of us. And then Mars is a soldier that wants to just go out and kill, and could be like, yo, everybody's the enemy. So Venus making these aspects along with all this energy, it's not the time to play around in these relationships or these whatever you got going on with somebody else. All right, just letting you know. But good things about even these squares, oppositions and stuff with Venus, a lot of passion. And if some people are into that thing to where you don't mind a little jealousy or possessiveness from your boo just to let you know that you're wanted, like, no, you're mine, fuck that shit. You're all mine. You're like, ooh, baby, really, I'm all yours? Okay, what's good? Some people might enjoy that. It could bring a lot of the passion that brings you closer, because Scorpionic energy rules intimacy, like really getting to know someone, peeling the layers away of the things that you hide and you keep in your innermost self. You keep to yourself. You only tell to certain people or let certain people see that side of you. Like you may let someone in, let them through the steel gates that are around you, like, energetically, and let them in, to let them know more about yourself. Or people can go the opposite route. They could be more protective and be like, oh, hell to the no. I just saw this one little thing that made me suspicious of you. Now I'm going to guard myself completely and be like, nope, you can't come in. I don't know what you're going to do to me. I don't know if you can hurt me. Yeah. So anyway, that's a big lesson in Scorpio energy right there, you guys, because the middle of the month is popping with that energy. Okay. So on the 16th, this is when Venus squares Jupiter. And then Venus square Jupiter can be like, you can go either way with being optimistic or, overly optimistic or not optimistic enough about things. pretty much in a nutshell. I'm going to try to speed this up. And then on the 17th is when we have Mercury opposing Uranus. Mercury opposing Uranus, the planet of crazy and weird and wacky and sudden and surprise, bitch. You thought it was this way? Haha, I'ma flip you the other way. Throw you on the opposite path in the opposite direction where you thought you were going. That's what that planet rules. And it can be annoying AF. Let me tell you, okay? The day that the sun and Uranus were opposing each other, yo, that day was weird, you guys. Like, so weird. I thought I was going in a certain direction, and then I ended up going a different direction and landed in some hick town. There were no exits for miles and miles and miles and miles until there was a hick town, and I was out of gas and there was no gas station. And then I was trying to call to sign up for a class, and dude that was in charge of the class was like singing weird 80s songs to me over the phone and being such a goofball to where I was like, motherfucker, I'm trying to sign up for a class. Like, I don't have time to play. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, it was such a weird day. So now Mercury opposing Uranus. Mercury is communication. People will be more wacky and goofy. We had this aspect already October 7th and October 19th, I believe. Did I write my notes right? Because it was like 8. Yeah. So October 7th and 19th. I do remember around those days, there were a lot of like jokes and goofiness and stuff, which was cool, you know, and people just saying weird stuff, which was funny. But there can be some mishaps with communication and with technology with Mercury opposing Uranus, because Mercury rules the small technological devices that we use for our everyday things, especially for communication, smartwatches, phones, laptops, tablets, stuff like that. If you have a GPS device, people still use those because your phones do everything now, right? If you use I know this is a dinosaur now, but a fax machine, some people still do, or a printer, copier, scanner, microwave, toaster, like any of that stuff is ruled by Mercury. So those devices can get a little out of control, okay? And have some glitchy things happen. Maybe you may have some issues with like your internet connection or your cell phone connections, stuff like that. Okay, is more likely to happen under a Mercury opposing Uranus day. Or you can have some sudden information come to you out of nowhere. That could be some information that was Scorpio, you know, once hidden, secret, or whatever. Or just a sudden insight into something. Maybe because Uranus rules like lightning. So imagine like things coming to you like a flash of lightning. You know what I'm saying? Like you suddenly just, oh, aha, like those light bulb moments. And Uranus rules electricity and light bulbs. So those light bulb moments, like we call them, to where you all of a sudden realize something, you know, and maybe that's just out of the blue, or maybe you uncover some information, you read something or look at something and it's like, whoa, you know what? Now I understand. So yeah, that can happen under this Mercury-Uranus opposition. So once again, that's on the 17th. On the 19th, this is when Venus squares Saturn. So this can be something that's going on with like money or love and feeling a little crotchety and grumpy about it, or maybe feeling blocked. Maybe your optimism that has to do with money or love can be blocked. That's something that can happen on this day. Or maybe some people decide to solidify something that has to do with money or relationship stuff. But usually what I've noticed with Venus and Saturn is, yeah, you feel stuck, or maybe there is something that comes up, like a bill pops up out of nowhere that you forgot about. Lord have mercy. Yo, let me tell you, like, I recently had a personal Venus and Saturn aspect pop in, and that's exactly what happened. Is I discovered a bill that I had forgotten about that was like $300 something plus that just popped up, and I was like, are you kidding me? And so I felt blocked financially, like I can't make any moves right now. I wanted to do some Venusian things. Venus rules enjoying yourself, spending your money, you know, and Saturn's like, no, you have responsibilities. So some people can experience things like that. Either something pops up, or it could just be that you just realize that you're not as free to spend your money as you want it to be. Because Venus is also squaring Jupiter. Jupiter does rule, hey, throw your money in the air like you just don't care. Like, there's plenty of money, you'll always get it back, and there's a never-ending supply of money. Like, that's how Jupiter makes you feel. And then Saturn is the opposite. Jupiter expands, Saturn contracts. So there's expand, contract in the mix here. And Venus, poor little Venus, is caught up in both. So you'll have moments of like, woo, and then Saturn smacks you in the face and is like, excuse you, bills, hello. So yeah, that's Venus square Saturn. Okay, and that is on the 19th. So the 21st has a few things going on. Okay, so we have Venus entering Scorpio on the 21st. And as Venus enters Scorpio, the sun leaves Scorpio and goes into Sagittarius. So first, Venus goes into Scorpio on that day, on the 21st. Looks like it's like in the morning time or really early, sometime on the 21st, wherever you're at. So Venus enters Scorpio and she stays there until, I didn't even write the dates down. Are you kidding me? Well, we can always look them up on our ephemeris. Hello. Okay, so Venus in Scorpio, she stays there until November 15th, and the sun stays in Sagittarius until, or I'm sorry, December 15th. She stays in Scorpio until December 15th, and the sun stays in Sagittarius until December 21st. So from the 21st to the 21st, okay? And then, yeah, Venus in Scorpio from the 21st of November to the 15th of December. So, 3 weeks or so. Venus in Scorpio, she joins the Scorpio party along with, the sun for a few minutes. And then also, but she stays there with Mercury for like the, almost for the remainder of the month. Yeah, pretty much the remainder of the month. Venus and Mercury will be in Scorpio. So when Venus is in Scorpio, once again, Venus rules enjoyment. She rules fashion and beauty and, relationships. So things take a scorpionic turn when it comes to those things in life. So Venus in Scorpio, it's even more like, bring out the chains and the leather and the lace and, wearing things with slashes and holes in them. Wearing barely anything, wearing harnesses, wearing that red or burgundy lipstick, wearing that cat eye, wearing that smoky eye makeup, wearing masks, not just the face mask that we're forced to wear because of the Rona. I mean like the masks over your eyes, wearing sunglasses, rocking some shades. That's Scorpio all day, because Scorpio is a very deeply soulful sign and understands that the eyes are the window to the soul. Scorpio sees people through X-ray vision, pretty much sees right through people. And so Scorpio energy loves to, people who possess this energy, or if we are under this energy by transit, whether you're born under it or not, we all are experiencing it. But Scorpio energy understands that they don't like for others to see too much of them, but they like to see everything about everyone else. And because they can see everything, they're kings and queens of research and investigation and just knowing a lot of secrets, they like to keep themselves a mystery because they don't want to be known like that. Like how they know people, they don't want people to know them. So that's why Scorpio energy is all about wearing the sunglasses, being incognito, wearing the big trench coats and leather jackets and looking like a badass, wearing things that have studs on them, like studded. You know how they show like people who are goth or like punk and different rocker groups that wear like those bracelets that are like the black leather with the metal studs on them. Anything that has like metal studs, anything to do with metal, because Mars also co-rules Scorpio, and Mars rules like weapons and stuff. So anything that's like metal, chains, like I mentioned before, all of that is associated with Scorpio. So when Venus is in Scorpio, that's kind of like the fashion of the moment. when the sun and Mercury are there, we get a touch of that, of course. But when Venus steps on the scene, oh, yes, honey. It's time to get those black boots on, okay? With the studs on those, or little spikes and stuff. You know what I mean? That's what the fashion is like. As far as relationship stuff, Venus and Scorpio, she doesn't play around. She will kill a bitch. Okay? I used to go to high school with this girl, and I didn't know as much about astrology as I know now, but now that I'm looking back, that chick had some Scorpio heavy in her chart. Because, first of all, she had this jet black hair, right? Her eyes were like Scorpio. A lot of Scorpio people, they have eyes that have a piercing gaze. And some of them have, if you have light colored eyes and you're a Scorpio, your eyes have this wild look in them, very intense eyes, right? And she had those. And then she was dating this dude. This dude wasn't even all that. But like I said earlier, Scorpio energy doesn't care. If you're mine, motherfucker, you're mine. Okay. And to a Scorpio, every bitch wants their man. Okay. So, or every dude wants their girl. So that's how that girl acted. And all of us would be like, but her dude's not even anybody that any of us want. Any girl that would even dare to speak to her dude in class or anything, or she even thought the slightest that he was like flirting with her, or flirting with some girl, or a girl was being nice to him. One time she chased after a girl with a pencil and threatened to gouge the chick's eyeballs out because she thought she was looking at her man. That was a Scorpio bitch through and through. Okay, so that's how Venus and Scorpio can act. She doesn't play. If you're hers, you're hers, or his. But Venus is feminine energy. That's why I say her. So possessive, jealous, much, yes, but a lot of times means well. I mean, of course, as a Scorpio rising, I'm going to defend my peoples and our energy. Means well. It's because we love so fiercely. We are very protective over who and what we love with passion, to where if there's any indication that somebody can take it away, we have extreme fear of loss. Okay, so that's how Venus and Scorpio act. She has an extreme fear of loss of what she possesses. So she's very protective. So that's where all of that comes from. But still, some people get a little too crazy with it. So yeah, Venus and Scorpio. But she really is, like I said, protective. And that's a beautiful thing with Venus and Scorpio. That's a very admirable trait of Venus and Scorpio that I would say is, Scorpio is the scorpion with the hard shell and the soft inside. So if you are someone that touches their soft inside, they will protect you with that hard shell with their lives. They will kill motherfuckers over you. Or they'll want to, at least, and they'll defend you to the end. So that's how Venus and Scorpio acts in love. But also Scorpio rules intimacy, and like I said, getting past those layers, but it can also be like putting a wall up because you are protective over yourself. You don't want to get hurt. So it can go either way. But Venus and Scorpio, enjoyment of Scorpio things, even though, like I said, Halloween is over, people will still be wanting to like get into scary stuff and maybe dress in costume or in, scary looking things and like rocking all the scorpionic gear that I mentioned. Okay, so that's Venus and Scorpio. And then the sun moves into Sagittarius. So Sag energy adds some lightheartedness and freedom loving energy to the possessive Scorpio of it all, that we are under the spell of for the rest of November. So the sun in Sag, it's time to celebrate. All right. It's celebration time. It's time to turn up. It's time to just get loose. Just grab some drinks, grab some good food, grab your peoples, laugh, crack some jokes, take a trip, celebrate life. That's the Sagittarius way. So the sun in Sag like bestows that energy upon us, like really makes us have a better attitude, more optimism. Scorpio energy could be very gloom and doom and brooding and stuff and dark, but Sag energy, this is a fire sign. So it really lights up. The energy lights up. Sorry, the energy lights up your life with Sag energy. Oh my gosh, I love Sagittarius energy. Like, they are like the kings and queens of partying and having a good time. They know how to have a good time, because Sag energy is about so much faith and optimism that they don't really give a shit about the consequences or of tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, they don't worry about tomorrow. They don't worry about a lot of things. They just jump and they just do with so much faith. That's why a lot of Sag people can just accomplish so many things. Like, see the arrow that they're ruled by, you know, they shoot that arrow out there and they just follow it wherever it landed. I'm just gonna go there, and I you know, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be like a cool ass place wherever I land. It's gonna be an adventure, gonna be something different. So that's what Sag energy rules. A lot of people, Sag energy loves nature, hiking, things like that. So people may, if weather permits, you know, and the circumstances of the world, oh my God, permit, a lot of people may want to do things like get more outdoors, go exploring, go camping, hiking, stuff like that under this energy. Sag energy, like I said, is about celebrating. It's about optimism. It's about faith. So people will wake up in the morning and be like, oh, yes, I am so grateful to be alive and to just breathe air today. You know, so yeah, that's why Sag energy is just so freaking dope. One thing about Sag energy, though, when the sun enters Sagittarius, is we can be a little reckless because it is fire energy. And like I said, it's, you know, just shoots the arrow and follows wherever it went, not even knowing exactly where they're going, but they're like, fuck it, you know? And because of that, Sag energy can be reckless, can be impulsive, and just do stuff, and like I said, not worry about the consequences, which could be fun. It can make you have such a good time, and you know what I mean? But when it comes to real life things, it can, you know, maybe get you into trouble. And Sag energy doesn't really care about responsibility. Sag energy will run really quick. Like, this Scorpio energy will like try to possess you, you know, and possess things. And Sag energy is like, whoa, 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 you know, it's half horse, half human. It'll gallop away from that possessiveness really quick. So yeah, like there's this, you know, like back and forth between those two energies for the rest of the month. So yeah, the sun stays in Sagittarius from November 21st through December 21st. And then the 27th, we have Venus opposing Uranus. Maybe I might go more in detail on this in the weeklies when we get there, because this is getting kind of long, you guys, and I have other things to do. But yes, the 27th, Venus and Uranus opposing each other. And this can bring like a sudden flash of something that has to do with love or money, pretty much. What I have personally found with Venus and Uranus aspects is someone may pop up out of the blue that maybe you haven't heard from in a while, and then they might disappear again. Okay, or you may meet someone. If you meet someone under a transit like this, it can go either way. It can be like, it seems like a flash of lightning struck and here they dropped out of the sky, and you're like, whoa, you're so dope. We have so much chemistry and such a connection. Where the fuck have you been all my life? Where did you come from? And it can result in something beautiful. Or it can mean you meet somebody, they're dope, everything, there's all these sparks flying, and then it dissipates and fizzles out as fast as it came through. Okay, it could go either way. I've seen and experienced both, but just be aware of the stupidity of it all with this transit, like how people can act. There could be sudden breakups too with the Venus and Uranus opposition. You know, a sudden breakup, some sort of decision with the relationships or with money that may not stick. Just keep that in mind. All right. So that's on the 27th. Lastly, you guys, dun dun dun, an eclipse. Yes, we have an eclipse this month. We have an eclipse November 30th. Oops. November 30th. It is in the signs of Sagittarius and Gemini. It's a full moon in is it the 30th or the 29th? What the hell? Okay, it's just like super mad early in the morning over here where I'm at, but you know, depending upon where you guys are at, it's later. So yeah, November 30th, it is popping this day. There's an eclipse at 8 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius, full moon in Gemini eclipse. Okay, so let's talk about this really quick, okay? We already have had an eclipse in Sagittarius, a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, and this was back in June, right? It was in June of 2020. Okay, so on the same axis, we had the full, yes, lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, June 5th of 2020. So on the same axis, we're having another eclipse. So whatever that eclipse in June brought to you, this eclipse is also bringing something similar. So once again, if you know where Gemini and Sag are in your chart and what they rule, then you know what's popping. If you don't, once again, November horoscopes, I will go over it for your sign and tell you what area of life it is affecting for you personally. Okay. But yeah, we have this axis lit up. Let's see the aspects. The only aspects that it's really truly making is like a trine aspect to Chiron. I won't really get into that too deeply, but mostly this eclipse is on its own. Between Gemini and Sag, just generally speaking, both signs rule information. The delivery of information, the amount of information that you retain, how you communicate information, stuff like that. Your mind, does your mind think on a smaller scale or a big scale? Are you looking at things through a telescope or a microscope? Are you looking at the big picture or the small picture with with little details flying, you know? That's what this axis rules. Sag rules education, so does Gemini, but you know, Sag is like education, like college level and beyond. Gemini is more like elementary school and, you know, reading the little ABC, Mary Had a Little Lamb type of shit, okay? So it's those two areas of your mind, your world, your life. They both rule travel. You know, Gemini is traveling short distances, like around your neighborhood, around your city, or maybe another city that's close by your city, and you kind of know people, you know, already. That's Gemini. Whereas Sag rules traveling outside of your city, maybe even outside of your state or country even, and getting to know people that are foreign and different than you know, and experiencing other cultures, and everything is so different and unfamiliar, but you're like super hyped and excited about that. So there could be some opposition between that in general with you, like with experiences and learning and traveling that's brought to light, or something to do with information, which, should you believe, like, you skimmed through an article real quick and gathered like a word here, a word there. Or if somebody is telling you information, that's how they got the info, versus they really went and read like books or like paragraphs and pages and pages and pages of information before they spoke about it. You know, so it's an opposition between those things. So generally speaking, we may see some changes in our world that have to do with Gemini and Sag things. But yeah, the eclipse, how it affects you really depends on where it's at in your chart, but it's happening on November 30th. Okay. And remember, this is a continuation of the series of eclipses we are having. The first one was in June of 2020. And then we're going to continue through 2020 and 2021 to have these eclipses. Now, these are a repeat. This is a repeat. Let's see. Yeah, actually, this eclipse we didn't have 19 years ago. The one that's coming up in December at 23 Sag, we had in 2001. So that is definitely a repeat, but we'll get to that when we talk about December. But this is still on the axis of eclipses that are in Gemini and Sag that are pop in through 2021. Okay. So yeah, but this is going to be the last lunar eclipse in Gemini though. Okay. But yes, so 2020 and 2021, we ease into the Gemini and Sag axis. So yeah, and I do know someone personally that they do have Gemini placements, and already they have already seen and experienced the effects of this eclipse at the very beginning of November. Okay, so like I said, the effects can be experienced up to a month before, okay, and up to 6 months after. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. That's what's going on November 2020. Once again, tune into the weeklies, and I'll get into more detail about some of this stuff. And don't forget to check out the monthly horoscopes on my website and stay posted for the yearly 2021 horoscopes. I'm getting those finished up, I promise. And stay posted to my YouTube and my Instagram for when all of that stuff is gonna be complete. All right. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a good month of November. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.